All right, thanks for joining us. Zach Twardowski here. I'm sitting here with Michael Herrmann. Thanks for coming in all the way from where do you live at now? Minneapolis?
Still in Minneapolis, yeah.
Minneapolis. So you went from super cold to only kind of cold in Denver. So
Correct.
good. Well, thanks for coming in. Michael is a Sapphire producer, which means you help 50 to 60 families a month every month. And I'm excited to have you in, kind of pick your brain on a few things. But if you could, Michael, can you give us a little background on, how long you've been with Family First Life and kind of what you were doing prior to coming over and working here?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been licensed for about 4 or 5 years now, insurance license wise. I've been with FFL now. I think this is my 7th month. And I was in the financial planning industry, did some insurance investment, things like that. Kind of the same as far as helping people, same mentality, but a lot different. And so it's been really cool and a blessing since I've been over here at Family First Life for 7 months now.
And then prior to, so did you work in the financial planning industry prior to coming over here?
I did.
And then you were in college before that?
Correct. Yep.
Got it. So
Yep.
what did you study? I don't even know the answer to this. What did you study in college?
So I studied finance and accounting, and actually my first 2 years of college. So I played a year of college basketball, and then decided that wasn't for me because I wasn't going pro. And so I actually moved back home, went to school in Omaha, where I'm from originally. Worked for my brother doing construction, and also worked part time also at a gym. And so I did all that while going to school, and then decided that I didn't want to do those things anymore. And I was going to school for finance and accounting, so I got into the financial planning industry.
Got it. Did you end up completing college, getting your 4-year degree in that, or did you stop college and start working?
So I continued all the way through.
Got it.
I've pretty much been working full time since the time I mean, as long as I can remember. So I was working during the day, running appointments, doing financial planning, and then at night I was taking accounting and finance classes.
Got it. So you've always had to work. So working was not like a confusing part of this to you.
No, from the time I was born and raised, as much as I can remember, the work ethic was always there. So
Yeah, my parents always made me work too. I think that's a good thing. I'm gonna remember that when I have kids. They're definitely
yes,
working from the time they can do anything.
absolutely, absolutely. So
Yeah, free labor, right? So, so I guess one of the commonalities I've seen too is people with athletic background or military background, especially those two, have a really good success here. Not everyone, but a lot of people have. A lot of the top producers and a lot of the top agency managers have one or the other somewhere in their background, which is kind of cool, I think. What do you think helps people with that kind of background succeed in a commission-based sales job, especially with FFL?
yeah, so I would actually go all the way from having a sports background all the way to the time you wake up in the morning. I mean, as an athlete, whether it be, during the summers or during the school year, like you're getting into the gym and doing training and practice and things like that at like 5 a.m. And so literally, I think your success in this business actually starts how you start your day. Waking up early, eating healthy, working out, things like that. I think that just leads into success, whether it be a dial day or your day out in the field, because you need to take care of yourself first in order to be able to take care of other people. And also, I think that having that background in sports, growing up competitively, I played every single sport: football, basketball, baseball. I literally, I'm pretty sure, being vulnerable here, I'm pretty sure the first time I ever lost a basketball game, I literally cried on the spot on the court because it literally just broke me that much. I was like, gosh, I can't lose. I can't be second. And in this business, really, it's cool to surround yourself with people that you can compete with every single day, whether that be your amount of families you're helping or, growing your agency and sharing this opportunity with many other people. I think it's a huge advantage. So,
Yeah, and it's cool because you're all on the same team, so it's like a sport where you're trying to be like the best on your team, but at the end of the day, you want everyone else to win too.
100%.
Like if we're on the same team, I don't want you to suck because we're on a team together and we have to go play together. So I'm like, I want you to be good,
Right.
but I just want to be like the best. So it's like you're cheering everyone on and you're competing. Like I think the way some people struggle in business because they're competing with other people and they want them to do worse and
Right.
they stay the same. Where it's like I want you to do as well as you can, and then I just want to do better than that.
100%.
So it's like a healthy kind of competition we have, right?
I could not agree more. And I think that, so just this past weekend, I had a new agent starting part-time, literally the dream of exactly what you can do and showing that, people can really, really take on this and go at it, is literally he got licensed, got contracted, bought leads, and went and helped families. I mean, the guy helped over 7 families this weekend alone. And I literally, from the time I woke up when I knew he's running appointments, I was more excited for the success he was going to have than myself because I literally genuinely cared.
Yeah.
And I think that's the environment people have at Family First Life.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I guess that's probably one of the things, right? I was gonna ask why you think you've done so well in the first 7 months that you've been here. And obviously you care a lot about the clients, and then now you're starting to care a lot about agents you're bringing on, which is why you're gonna build a big team this year, and the people that you're recruiting are gonna do really well. But what do you think you do in the home to like let clients know you care for them and show them, this is what we're going to do. And I'm coming from a place of compassion rather than I'm here just to sell you something you don't need.
Dude, 100%. It's from the time you walk into the door in the first, I think you can either help a family or walk out of there not be able to help them within the first 30 seconds to a minute of that entire appointment. Big thing for me that I talked about in the training earlier is there's 3 big things. I let everybody know that they're just like my family, treat them just like my parents and grandparents. And then I ask them, does that sound good? Does that make sense? And they always say yes. I always tell them that we're going to find a coverage amount that makes sense for, God forbid, that something happens. We're going to find something that makes sense. They always say, yeah, that sounds great. And the number 3, I tell everyone, we're going to find something that fits in your budget every single month. That way they don't feel like they're being sold. I let them know I'm on the same side as the table as them, and I just want them to get approved, God forbid something happens. And it really takes a lot of the pressure off, and they're not being sold. And at the end of the day, what we do is we do underwriting, and we help people who are already asking for information, asking for help. I mean, because if they didn't need the help, they would be doing it themselves, right?
Right.
So,
yeah, and that's what makes this different than other sales occupations, right? Is you're not like I think the most difficult part, and I've only done this, so my information is limited, but based on talking to other people, the most difficult part is prospecting typically and finding people that are interested in your product. So when you can cut down and find, that takes like 80% of people's time usually, right?
Yep.
And we can just go, hey, these are people that are interested in our product. Now let's work here, right?
Right.
So doing that, how many appointments are you able to run a week typically?
Yeah, so on a weekly basis, it's anywhere from 25 to 30 appointments. When I first started, definitely minimum was probably 30 to 35, sometimes even 40. I know Calvin Wright and I went at it one week. I think he ran 52 appointments. I think I ran 45, and I was like, okay, you win out, Calvin. You're better at this than me. But anyways, I think you have to give yourself a minimum of 30 at-bats. It's just like picking up a golf club, going to the batting cage. You're not going to be able to make contact right away. Yeah. You have to fall forward. And so the other thing that I was just telling you about earlier is like kind of my mentality that I have now is being confident and consistent. If I'm confident what I'm doing, I'm there to help people and serve others. And consistent, whether that be starting my dial day at 7:30, having my leads ready to go the night before, running 8, 9, 10 really high quality appointments every single run day. I'm just got to be consistent and confident that what I'm doing is truly helping others.
Yeah, and dude, I agree. And one of the most difficult things to learn is how to keep your mind the right way, right? Not ride the highs and lows. And one of the things that helped me with that, we were talking about this in the training we did earlier, but it's like, okay, something happened to me that I'm emotional about. Can I control it? If you can't control it, then there's no reason to waste emotional capital on that, right?
Yep.
And if you can control it, look at it like, okay, well, now I learned from this and I can make sure it doesn't happen again next time, right?
Right.
Because, dude, something I've heard people say before, which I always thought was weird, is they're like, I hate losing more than I like winning, which I don't really get that. I think that's a weird thing to say because I look at it like I really want to win more than anything else. And if you lose, all it is something that can teach you how to change something so that you can win next time, right?
Yep.
But what are some things that you've done to have the right mindset to stay, level? Because in a commission-based sales jobs, you're going to have really good weeks where you make a lot of money. You have bad weeks where you make no money and you spent money on leads and you had a chargeback and you lost money, right? So like, what
Absolutely.
do you do to stay level every single week and work on your mindset and keep it where it needs to be?
Yeah, so I think it all starts, again, like I said, it all starts how you begin your day. But something I think is super important is what I made the mistake at originally is I would carry appointment to the next appointment. And with that, I was maybe not able to help that family out because I let the no sale or the ability not to help them previously or that family before that, I took that out on the next family, and that's just not right. But what I've started doing to keep mindset and stay focused on being present is I'll pull up to a house, or before I get there, I'll take 5 minutes and kind of just think through the process like, hey, I'm here for this next family. It's not their fault I wasn't able to help the previous family. The other thing that I think is huge is when you sit down at that kitchen table, you almost kind of have to put your seatbelt on or pull that roller coaster, the strap over your head and say, hey, I'm locked and loaded, let's go. Yeah. Because I'm sitting in the seat, and there are times that you have to get really uncomfortable, but no one grows if you're not uncomfortable. Like I think there's uncomfortable conversations. We were talking about a very life or death situation, and we have to be comfortable getting uncomfortable. And I know that kind of sounds weird for a lot of people, but there are times you got to push people and really let them know, hey, I'm here for you, that kind of thing. I genuinely am here to help you. And that's a very uncomfortable thing.
Yeah, and dude, that's one of the biggest things I've seen too with our business is whenever you feel like you're comfortable, then you're not going to be growing anymore. And you have to constantly be stretching yourself and uncomfortable. Because when you're uncomfortable, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but you're learning something, right?
Right.
If it's comfortable in the same thing every day, you're not learning anything, you're not improving at all,
Absolutely.
Do you have anything that do you just love going out and serving families? Or do you have anything anything you anchor or tie, why you do this to keep you going?
Yeah. and if it's okay if I kind of get into it
Yeah.
if you want.
Whatever you want to share.
Yeah. So my dad, I mean, I think like you have to have a why. You have to have a why you wake up every day. You have to have a why you go out there and serve and love on people. So my dad actually, so I played every sport growing up, and I'll try not to get like emotional about this, but my dad was my hero growing up, and he still is to this day. He taught me how to shoot a basketball. He taught me how to swing a golf club. He taught me how to swing a baseball bat, throw a football. Everything a dad could ever do, and you want in dad, I got, and I was super blessed and lucky to have that. So my dad actually was diagnosed with cancer about 3 months ago. I had just kind of started this journey with FFL, and he was starting to kind of go to doctor's appointments and things like that, like my second month. And so I really took that second month and really spent a lot of time with them, which is what I had to do and what I needed to do for me. Actually, this coming Friday, he has his surgery to hopefully remove the cancer. And so being able to see what it's been able to do for my family and also while impacting others that's my why. That's why I wake up every day at 4:30, 5 o'clock. That's why I want to take care of myself. And also I make such a point every single day to be in contact with my family and talk to my dad. And this job actually gives me the ability to do that. Like if I'm not in a house, I will literally drop everything and answer that phone call from my dad because I don't have someone looking over my shoulder saying, hey, get back to work. This job allows you to do so much more than go out there and like make a really high income and really take care of you and yourself. Like you can impact your family, you can impact other families. So that's kind of my why.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. I think that's what, why you're gonna be such a good leader in this too, is because if you're willing to share and get uncomfortable. Like, dude, I didn't want to share anything for a long time either. Right. And when you actually do it, I think people look at you and they're like, oh, you're like, oh, Michael's like 6'7" and good looking. Like he's just he must be perfect, and nothing ever goes wrong. But everyone always has stuff going on, and you've been willing to share that. And it's true. Like you can go, I'm going to work, 7 days in a row this week. And then I'm going to take the next 2 weeks off and spend every moment with my dad because I can. And if they need help financially, I'll help them. And I'll do whatever I want to because I'm in control of myself. And I think it's a powerful place to be. And I think that's why this industry is attracting a lot of people, and specifically family first life, because people are realizing like, dude, if I'm not in control of everything, like all it takes is, something going wrong at my job or, a pandemic happening or whatever. And I may not work there anymore,
Right. And I think, I think that like for me at first, when I first came into family first life, I was like, okay, cool. That sounds great. But I think more than anything, like seeing what this has done for like myself and my family and loving and serving on other people and putting protection in place for them and their families, like truly family first life embodies itself. Like not only are you putting, the client's family, you're putting them first, like you're putting your family first, you're being able to put yourself first and take care of all that stuff. Like it literally could not be more true with the name and how Sean and the team has built it. Like it literally embodies itself.
Yeah. And I think one of the best things about it too is people are making, obviously doing well, but no one's out there like taking pictures of their Lamborghini or their multi-million-dollar mansion or anything. Mm-hmm. Like they're learning how to become, really, financially literate, and they're making great money, but they're not flashy about it. And they're you're taking care of your parents, we're able to do things. Like Deb's able to go through medical school without having any debt or anything, like just stuff like that. That means a lot more than, a cool watch or a fancy car. And I think like, just like we were talking, we had a training in the office earlier today. Right. And, I was talking about what Andrew taught me. He's like, I never bought anything that was for personal, like a car or a house or anything that was just like for me to have with any income that was not passive income. And like that little thing that he told me, like totally changed my life and the way I thought about money, and I think that's the stuff we talk about. And like you said, it really is about putting families first. So dude, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, and man. It's a pleasure. It's gonna be a really